There was a pious man who was already old and had seen everything in his life, but he had never seen justice. Whatever he knew, heard, and saw, it all seemed wrong to him. So he kept praying to God to let him see justice for once. God fulfilled his wish. One day he was going somewhere and a monk appeared before him. It was Saint Sava, and he said,
"Elder, what would you most like to see in the world?"
"Justice," said the old man.
"Good.
Said Saint Sava.
Climb that tree and you will see it."
The old man climbed the tree and saw a large field in front of him, and in that field a beautiful, clear spring and some kind of water flowing through the field. Meanwhile, there was a man on a horse dressed in the most beautiful way. When he reached the spring, he dismounted from his horse to drink water, and he felt like bathing in the water because it was very hot. A man's belt with a compartment for money. He thought about it. He would bathe, but he wouldn't because there was a forest on all sides, and he was afraid that someone would find him there and steal him. Finally, he undressed and left all his things far apart. He tied his horse to a bush. He left his clothes at one end. He took off his seamer with the money and buried it at the other end. He placed his weapons closest to him. If someone attacked him, he wouldn't take everything away, but so that he could defend himself. He bathed, got out of the water, and dressed. During that time, he neither heard nor saw anyone anywhere. He mounted his horse and left, forgetting to take the seamer. A shepherd almost passed by, chasing his goats, and one of the goats, darting back and forth, came to the place where the seamer was buried. The goat began to dig with both its horn and its foot, until it pulled out the semer. When the shepherd saw this, he ran faster and faster, grabbed the semer, chased the cattle away, and ran away from there. Just then, the shepherd wandered into a meadow, and an old beggar prayed by the side of the field. He was ragged. He was miserable. Not even a dog could grab him. He went to the spring and sat down to rest a little and wash himself. While sitting like that, he took a few crusts of bread out of his bag and began to pickle them in water and eat them. The horseman remembered that he had forgotten the camel and turned back. When he reached the spring, he found the beggar, called out to God, and asked him when he had arrived at the spring.
"Hi, by the way, at this hour,"
the beggar answered. Then the horseman ran to the place where the semer had buried it, but there was no sign of the semer or of the semer. He dug, he searched, there was none, and there was none. He immediately returned to the beggar and asked again.
"But did you see anyone when you came here?"
"Nobody,"
said the beggar.
"Well, then you know where my chamber went. I left it here."
The beggar was surprised at what he was saying and said,
"Leave me alone. Good man, I've had enough of my suffering and poverty. What do I know about some seamer of yours? When I came, I sat down here and I haven't moved from here."
The horseman wouldn't even hear of it, but attacked the beggar.
"Money for Wednesday or you'll die now."
And when the beggar began to justify himself and swear that he knew nothing about the money, nor had he seen it with his own eyes, the horseman became angry and began to beat him, saying,
"Tell me where the money is, because if you don't tell me where it is, you won't leave here alive. I'll drown you in this very spring."
The beggar again justified himself and defended himself, and when he got tired of this, he jumped on him and drowned him. Then he went to that place again and started digging, but he found nothing. He went through the field, but there was nothing either. He knocked over the beggar and his bag, but there was nothing either. Finally, he was afraid. He didn't dare stay in this field anymore. Someone might come along and see that he had killed a man. So he threw himself on his horse's shoulders and went his own way. The old man watched all this from the tree, and when the horseman ran away, he was afraid that someone might come from that direction, and when he saw the dead man, he might think that he had killed him, and that he might suffer for no fault of his own. So he quickly got down from the tree and fled into the mountains. The road led across that field, but he did not take the road, but rather struck through the forest, and thus bypassed the murdered man. Just then he moved a little further, and Saint Sava came out in front of him and asked him,
Well, old man, did you see anything in the field?
and the old man answered him,
But spiritual father, you told me that I would see justice today. And since I have seen injustice, I have never seen it again in my life.
You have not seen injustice,
said Saint Sava.
but justice you just do not know it yet.
The old man was afraid and said,
Go, for God's sake, this is a black justice for you, when a man dies for no fault of his own.
Listen, then tell me it's injustice.
said Saint Sava.
Did you see that horseman dressed and armed, riding through the field and bathing in that water? The father of that horseman is a robber, Hajduk. So he robbed a peasant and got rich that way. The shepherd who came there with his cattle and dug up the well is the son of that robbed peasant. And that's how the shepherd took his money, although he doesn't even know about it. The father of the drowned beggar was a Hajduk. So in the justice of God, he killed the horseman's father. And now, behold, the loan has been returned to his son. Now tell me, is that justice?
Yes, it is justice.
said the old man.
Therefore, never lend evil, because it will come back to you sooner or later.
Said Saint Sava to the old man, and in an instant he disappeared.